know it's only been 2 games, but it's been a fascinating 2 games for the Cowboys where they lost and people seem more upbeat as opposed to when they won, when people seemed more downtrodden. So I ask you this question.
Is it possible for us to get Are You Better in today? Is a question I ask you.
Oh.
Just maybe about a 5-minute Are You Better today.
Okay.
We can find a window. Sorry, go ahead and ask that other question. That sounds like an off-air discussion, Kevin.
I'm sure we can figure that out. All right. Are you feeling more positive, more negative, or still about the same as the doubt of?
I think
you got it.
I think I feel more.
Shut up, Alec.
This game didn't change my mind about what I felt after the Eagles game. I was very caught off guard by the Eagles game,
right?
Which I think the Eagles were too. Like, is that fair? Because they didn't. Schotty played with his 7-iron all preseason in an attempt to sneak a win out of the first game. I think. I really do think that, and he can say, "No, you're wrong about that," or whatever. But I really do think that they were going to utilize that opportunity to surprise Philadelphia, and they did. The first half of that game was a surprise to everybody. So the game that I saw last Sunday was more like what I expected this team to look like.
Right.
I expected the Cowboys to utilize George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb in the passing game, and I didn't know what I was going to get out of the running game. I'm getting better out of the running game, but I just did not expect our defense to be that successful yet. Losing Deron Bland, definitely a problem there too. But Kevin, so I am kind of right there where I was. I'm still surprised they were as good as they were against Philadelphia. I'm surprised they were as bad as they were against New York. And I think they're somewhere in between and can get better. They can also get very, very worse.
You know, I'm glad that you used the defense as one of the examples, because that's where I think I'm back around to close to the same on the Cowboys, maybe a tiny bit more positive. But let's look at the defense. I wrote more positive, rushing defense. Less positive, defensive backs. All right, so the rushing defense. Right now, this one is tough because it's been 2 games. But you are giving up 16 fewer yards rushing per game, and that's great. But here's what I really wanted to focus on. You're giving up 4.1 yards per carry.
Okay.
Last year, I believe it was 4.8 yards per carry. Now you're talking about a position where you go from being one of the worst in the league to certainly the potential to be at least in the middle of the league. And if you would have told me going into the season, your rush defense is going to be adequate, I think I'd have been like, great, that sounds fantastic, which I know is a weird use of the word adequate, but in this case, I think it is accurate. So thus far, I feel more positive about the rushing defense. But if that's the case, then I have to admit I feel more negative about the defensive backs, because I remember one of my Cowboys questions was, is it possible that this cornerback thing might just be all right? And again, shooting for adequate here. It has not.
Yeah.
It has not.
I'm
look,
sorry, dude.
I feel like you knew that. You saw the games. But the third most yards given up through 2 games, Nick Harris brought it up. Kaiir Elam has given up the most passing yards by any individual defender thus far. And then you go back to this, and I know Jerry talked about it Tuesday with Sean and RJ. We're going to have Jerry Jones on with us at 10:30 tomorrow. We'll be live from Taco Bueno in Dallas off North Central Expressway. But Eberflus, he's running zone coverage, like 95, 96% of the time. The defense gave up 7 passing plays of 20 or more yards against the Giants. This is the same Giants team with the same personnel and everything that the week before against the Commanders looked like, well, I probably shouldn't say what I really want to say. They did not look good offensively. And then against us, they look like the next coming of the greatest show on turf. Mm-hmm. And so again, where does that get you? More negative about the passing defense, more positive about the rushing defense. That puts me back at pretty much where we started.
Yeah, that's exactly where I am right now.
All right, Alec, more positive about the Cowboys, more negative about the Cowboys, or pretty much about the same?
I'd say more positive in a slight manner. It's more of the same, but what gave me that ray of sunshine was how they handled the end of the game, because like you said, really all week, Kevin, is that it wasn't perfect. There were times that the offense sputtered. There was definitely times where the defense was not adequate, is the word we're going to use today. But there were moments, especially there at the end of the game, and most of them were because of your kicker. I will admit that. But I feel like I'm still riding off the high that is Brandon Aubrey being on my football team, which is crazy to say in 2025 we're flexing our kickers, in the NFL. But I think he's obviously a big part of it. But the way they handled the fourth quarter and overtime, it's more of the situational stuff that gets me excited, because I didn't think the situational stuff was there in the last year of Mike McCarthy's tenure, just because everybody was kind of on a solo mission. It was hero ball. It was just get through the season. We'll figure it out later. At least from my perspective, their situational moments at the end of the game specifically gave me enough hope.
Okay. Situational moments. Great phrase right there. Because if I said I'm about back at the same, maybe a little bit more positive, I'm going to take Alex's situational moment comment and I'm going to put a specific situational moment for me. The Dallas Cowboys offense on third down thus far has been tremendous. Dak Prescott has thrown 20 third down passes so far this season. Now, is that a lot of third downs? Yes. He's completed 15 of those passes, with 11 of them going for first downs. Dak Prescott leads the NFL in third down completions. Now, you can, of course, argue a lot of numbers both ways. The first number is, would you like to see more conversions on first and second down? Sure, I can agree with that. But if you're doing well on third down, either offensively or defensively, that is a huge predicator, maybe behind only turnover ratio, that you're probably doing good in this game. So if there's any specific thing that I think has me hopeful going forward, is that Dak Prescott specifically and the Cowboys offense have been really good on third down so far.
I'm not the only one that's seeing this, Kevin. As former Cowboys players are seeing the same thing I'm seeing. And we've asked Steven and Jerry this. I've asked you about it. I'm not exactly sure where you stand on it. I feel like I'm watching Dak with a different energy. Do you agree?
You said that in the first game.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that before I answer?
There is the whole spitting situation, like that right there. I love that out of my leader. I want my leader to be an antagonizer, talk the trash, back it up, all those things that go along with it. But then again, you add to that, he looks comfortable in the offense. He looks like he has control of it at times. He just has a different, I don't know what it is. There's a different confidence. Maybe it's a happiness. I'm not sure if he loved Mike McCarthy. That's one person has told me he feels a lot freer,
right?
Than because he doesn't have that person around anymore. And maybe that is the thing. Maybe he feels free in this Schottenheimer offense because he understands it more. Schottenheimer even discussed last week, I believe, he was like, it feels great knowing that I can call these plays. I feel free calling these plays because I know Dak can work within them. I know what Dak can work within the system to maneuver it, just so he doesn't have to strictly stick to it. But he looks like since Micah left, that he feels like he has more responsibility to take on the leadership of this team and be there cheering, being a cheerleader, pumping everybody up. I'm seeing him on the sidelines being a little different. Now, there are throws that he makes that he still walks off with his mouth agape. Like that still happens.
Right.
But there's just a different vibe that I'm seeing in him, and I think that's paying off for the offense in that respect right there. He just looks comfortable in the offense right now. Now, I need it to convert into the entire team has that same confidence. Somebody said Dak's in villain mode right now. I'm fine with that too. But that when he stepped through and spit, I'm not saying he antagonized Jalen Carter on purpose.
Sure.
But once he saw that Jalen Carter was antagonized, the smile went on his face of, I got you. And I love knowing I just got into your head and my quarterback sees that and is aware of it and ready to rock.
Yeah, I mean,
And you know how I feel about Dak. I've been a big critic of
Sure.
him for quite some time now.
I don't want you to be angry with me.
You don't have to agree with me. This is a country, Kevin, where
Well,
we can.
No, I know, but you got to pick a side, right?
Nope.
That's what I was told.
You
gotta
can
pick a
say
side.
what you want, though. We can have a conversation.
Okay, well then, Corey, I am going to wait this out for a couple more weeks to see if I totally agree with your hypothesis. I see reasons.
Watch for it.
Yeah,
Watch for what I'm saying and see if you can see that.
And I am going to, there are a couple of reasons I think your hypothesis could be valid. So look at some of the weapons for Dak Prescott. Well, he's got a secondary receiver that I would assume he feels way better about than he has in some time. He's got a running game that at least early on, it looks like you should feel significantly better about compared to last year. So now the next check on that list is going to be, can the offensive line get it together? Because those Pro Football Focus grades you gave us yesterday were super depressing. And so
that part of the way he's acting and what you're saying there, I also think that maybe he's kind of, I don't know what the word is here, giving this off so that other people feel the same confidence.
Sure. I think that's a great idea. Some people are probably not fazed by that, but I'm willing to bet there is a good number of players on that team.
There's a Tyler Guyton that's probably sitting there going, man, I don't know yet. And he just needs that one thing to go, man, I'll follow that dude. I'm willing to go there.
Dak Prescott is their dinosaur. You remember Mookie Wilson said, whenever I'm in a slump, I think about dinosaurs. And if dinosaurs believe in me, and if I believe in dinosaurs, then they'll believe in me. And then that helped him get out of their slump. So Dak Prescott is Tyler Guyton's dinosaur. If Dak Prescott believes in him, he believes in Dak and vice versa. And I just think that's an amazing quote. I know it's kind of paraphrasing it a little bit.
Our friend, the celebrity Reginald Atatula, is the one that first introduced me to that quote, and it's a genius quote. I love it. And I think you're dead on. Then, if I put this off, then maybe the guys are going to believe that we are exactly what that is. And Kevin, sometimes you don't actually have to be that. You just have to think you are.
Yes. Look, this is a weird kind of non sequitur. I had a conversation with somebody this week who does not believe in dinosaurs, and I didn't get into a debate with them. I just read them that quote just so they would know that quote existed in the world, just so they would know.
What if the dinosaurs were actually just chickens all along?
Wait, what?
That's the question.
I don't know what to do with that right now. You're not going to deter me from telling you the craziest thing you're going to hear all day, besides what you just said about chicken dinosaurs. All right, Javonte Williams. This is another more positive. The rushing offense and Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams joined Herschel Walker and Alvin Blunt as the only players to rush for 3 touchdowns in their first 2 games with the Cowboys.
Okay.
You might be like, who the hell is Alvin Blunt? That's a fair point. No Cowboy has ever scored a rushing touchdown in each of their first 3 games with the franchise.
Not even Emmitt Smith?
No.
He's the best.
That is true. So this would be historical, but consider those 2 players. Herschel Walker in 1986 went down and got traded, maybe in the greatest trade in the history of football. Alvin Blunt scored 3 touchdowns in his first 2 games with the Cowboys and never played a game in the NFL again.
So you're saying that
No,
Williams...
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I just thought that was an amazing factoid because he got hurt, I guess, I think it was right at the start of the 3rd game. So I guess he played that. And then he never caught on and played in another regular season game again. Isn't that crazy?
We're going into Javonte Williams' 3rd game.
Okay, but that was a mistake to tell you that.